Guys, Miss Parnell here with an update about the AP exam. I'm explaining it to you right here in this YouTube video. You can follow along on the screen, and then this Google Doc that I'm showing is also up so that you always have it, because you might not remember everything that I say today. You can always go back and read it, and you know exactly what to do. So this is what I know as of April 20th. I will do more videos and more updates. I'm going to more webinars and more training while they're telling us more specific stuff. So just be on the lookout for that. So just to start off, like, they did a quick survey and 91% of kids wanted to take the AP exam this year because they really wanted to get college credit. This is something that they didn't want to miss out on. You probably agree. You put in all the time all year. Let's just try it. So overwhelmingly, people wanted to do it because getting college credit can save you money in college. So that's why they're not canceling the exam. All right, so let's talk about when it is. So it is Tuesday, May 19th. It is at 2 p.m., which is Eastern time. So if you look online at the exam schedule, everyone has to take it at the same time. So if you're following someone from California, they're going to give you a different time of day, but you're all doing it at the same time. So make sure whenever you're looking at Eastern time. That's the time zone we live in, and don't want you to miss it because you're waiting an hour or two because the person you saw, that you were following on Twitter or something like that, puts, that their test is at a different time of day. So Tuesday, May 19th at 2 p.m. The makeup is Friday, June 5th at 4 p.m. Students preferred doing an earlier time when they surveyed them and not waiting much longer because they wanted to stay as close as they could to learning the information and stuff like that. So all these tests, the original tests, are just pushed back 1 week from the first date that we knew all year. All right, so the format. It will be online and it is at your house. There are no multiple choice questions, only free response questions. No AP exams at all this year have multiple choice questions. Every single one, math, science, everything has just free response questions. For us in psychology, there's 2 free response questions, which there has always been 2 free response questions. So if you're familiar with it, or you've heard people talk about it and stuff like that, it's the same 2 we've always had. They're just taking out the multiple choice parts. So the first question is going to have 30 minutes total, but you're only going to have 25 minutes to write because the last 5 minutes are going to be used for you to upload your response. And the second question will be 20 minutes with total time allotted, but again, 15 minutes to write and still having 5 minutes to upload at the end. The first question, since it's longer, is going to be 55% of your grade, and the second question, because it's shorter, is going to be 45% of your grade. I will know more details. They were kind of starting to come out with it, but they weren't super clear. So I'm waiting for the next webinar in which I can tell you kind of more of the breakdown of what those questions are going to look like. They're different. And it's the second one, I believe, is research methods based and stuff. So I'll get all that for you because we have practice ones and stuff we can take coming up, they've told me. So we'll kind of worry about that then. Here's the thing, though, you have to be vigilant about your time. If you were taking this at school, you'd have a proctor or administrator in the room telling you the time, 5 minutes to go and stuff like that. So you have to be vigilant about your time. You will not be allowed more time if you lose track and run out of time. You're just out. Okay, so you have to be on the ball about that. Like I said, practice ones are coming out soon, and we can practice all this stuff. And you can practice this and see which type of technology you want to use. Do you want to use your phone? Do you want to use a tablet? Do you want to use your Chromebook, your laptop, your desktop, whatever is in your house, and just kind of see what you feel more comfortable with. Like I said, these are free response questions like in the past. And here's the thing, you can't simply just know the definition. That's not going to get you enough points. That's not going to get you any points, pretty much. You have to, like it says, it's more application based. You have to relate the term to the specific scenario, the specific thing the question's asking. It's more real world. So anything that can be found really easily on Google or in your textbook or something, that's not going to give you points. So you'll be like, that's cool, you know what the word is, but that's not what we're asking you. We're asking you da 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 da. So you have to show, that should be an understanding of concepts and how they relate to each other. And again, just related to that specific question, the scenario posed in that question. All right, how to take the test. You can do a couple different things. Overwhelmingly, most people say they're going to type it on a device, but you have the option to write it. So you can handwrite it, take a picture, and upload it. There'll be instructions for that. Or you can type it on your device and just hit submit and upload it. If you type it, they suggest you keep 2 browsers open, one with the prompt and the time, and then one that you can write in and maybe copy and paste it and hit submit or something like that. That way, maybe you don't accidentally close the browser, hit back, or something bad like that. But you can't be on multiple devices, which kind of stinks. You can't have your phone with the timer and the prompt, and then you're typing it on your laptop. Unfortunately, you can only be logged in through one device, and so you kind of have to pick what that is. Like I said, those are all the different devices you can use, and you should practice to see which ones you prefer. Now, here's the thing. They designed the test questions to keep you busy the whole time and maybe even run out of time. You're not going to have extra time. Okay, so you're not going to, in 25 minutes and 15 minutes of writing, like that's not very long when you really think about it. So they've designed these to be full to keep you, working the whole time. So like I said, you're probably not going to finish early, so you need to work efficiently. Don't waste your time. But here's the thing, even if you run out, and not like run out like in the middle of a sentence run out, but like you would have liked a couple more minutes to like do something or something like that, you can still earn a really good grade, even if you don't finish, because you might not be the only one. And I'm going to explain how grading and stuff works in a little bit. So don't totally panic over that. So here's how it's going to work. You're going to be emailed a ticket about 48 hours, 24 hours before the test, something like that. And the ticket, I guess it's like an email, you click here, something like that. You need to click it. You need to arrive to the test early. So you need to click it about 30 to 15 minutes before the test because there's a couple things they want you to do. You got to answer some questions to prove it to you. And then you got to provide a writing sample. So you need to have that finished before the actual test times. Like at the start of the hour, when it's time to test, you don't need to still be working on that because that's time you're going to lose from your first question. So arrive early, answer those questions, do your sample, and then you're going to be in kind of a waiting room, just kind of waiting until, the hour comes and it's time to test. And then it, clicks you in and you get to do it. So don't forget about that. And I'll remind you of that. If you finish a test before time is up, like if you finish the first one before the time is up, the 30 minutes, you're not going to get to go on and start in on the second one. They want everyone to start at the same time. So again, you'll be put like into a waiting room, and then when the 30 minutes has passed and it's time to start question 2, then you'll be allowed to do question 2. Since so many people worldwide are going to be admitted to this test at the same time electronically, like they're thinking it's probably going to have to come in waves, like every second, couple seconds or stuff like that. So you may, it may be 3 minutes after the hour, 5 minutes after the hour before you're admitted, you see the question, you start testing. That's okay. The timer doesn't go on like the hour. The timer goes on when you are presented with the question. So you will still have 30 minutes, and that type of thing. So don't freak out over that. You won't lose time over that. Your timer will start as soon as you see it, and you'll see the full time there. So if you don't use your ticket, your email in May, they're just going to resend you one in June. They're going to assume you're doing the retest in June. If you don't use that one, I guess they're going to assume that you forfeit taking the exam. But try and take it in May. You don't have to. I can't force you to, but they strongly encourage us to, because if something goes wrong, a battery dies, anything like that, you can still take it in June. If you decide to wait till June and something goes wrong, you're out of luck. There's no retest. So just kind of keep that in mind. Let's see. If something goes wrong, you need to take the one in June. There'll be information, I believe, in like your email or the tickets you get about explaining like what type of problem you encountered. And if that happens, contact me, let me know, and I'll help you kind of work through that. And if you contact the College Board and explain what happened, then they'll grant you a retest for any type of legitimate problem. Things not to worry about. One of the things they said don't worry about is if you have low bandwidth, aka slow connection. So if it's taking a while for that first question to upload and it's like, I don't know, maybe the bar's like going across or whatever, and it's about time to start question number 2, and you're like, as long as you've hit submit and upload within that time frame, you're good. It can be uploading, slowly in the background while you're working on question number 2. So you don't have to wait for it, which is nice. If you are not getting emails from the College Board, you need to check on that. Go to your My College Board account. I have it on the website, on the page of my website, all about the AP exam. There's a link down at the bottom about my College Board account. Log in, check your profile. I mean, this is what you created at the beginning of the year when I give you that class code and everything. So you will need to fix that because that's how you're going to get your ticket. If you gave them the right email, you find that in your profile then, and you're not getting it, maybe go to your email settings, make sure it's not going to junk. Make sure I got the email right here that you're allowing College Board at e.collegeboard.org to come through to you. And if for some reason you're not getting it, contact me. This Friday, there's a link on my website that says, click here if you need a device or internet. This Friday is the deadline for letting the College Board know. Now, most people, this probably isn't a problem because if you needed something, once San Francisco County Schools and Glenn gave out hotspots and Chromebooks. If you need something, let me know. I might could get you something a little quicker from Glenn or from the county, but nationally they're giving them out too because they don't want anyone at a disadvantage. And at some point there will be examples and trainings. There'll be some practice questions. There's also going to be, I believe, this PowerPoint training you do, and you fill out a worksheet. This is kind of some vague stuff they were telling us is coming up. You'll fill out a worksheet with like information and stuff you need, and then you'll bring that worksheet with you to every single AP exam, and it has all the information you need on it. So it's all in one place. You don't have to go searching for stuff. What will be on the test? Only units 1 through 7. 7 is the one we're starting now on personality, motivation, and emotion. If you're wondering what those units are, I have them organized really nicely on the website, but basically it's every unit except for the last one we did, which was Unit 8, Psych Disorders and Therapy, and Unit 9, which we did over Christmas break, which was Social Psych. Accommodations. If anyone gets accommodations with testing, these will be provided. The most common accommodation is extra time. That's automatically just built into your test timer with 45 minutes. For other accommodations, you should be contacted by the College Board. Let me know if you are not. All right, so here's the big question, right? Test security. So everyone's like, I'm doing this at home. I'm doing this alone. Like, free day. Well, it is and it isn't, okay? So you will be alone. You're going to be taking the test from home. So it is open book. It is open notes. It is open internet. Like, even if we said it wasn't, we'd have to assume it was. Like, don't use your textbook and everybody's just going to sit there with the textbook closed. Come on. But the thing you cannot do is you cannot collaborate. Okay, you cannot work with someone, you cannot discuss questions, you cannot discuss answers, you cannot plagiarize someone else's work, you cannot copy information, pose it as your own, nothing like that. So you can use all the resources you want, but what you submit has to be from your head. It has to be your explanation, your answer, your writing, all that kind of stuff. They talked at length on these in the 2 webinars I've been to, and about basically how they've contacted major security firms like that work with like banking and stuff like that, to run their test security, run all their answers through plagiarism data banks, online communication of people signed up to take the test, and it's like keywords, phrases, places, websites, stuff like that they're looking for. And they actually said they've actually busted a couple people already who were setting up plans to do this. So they won't tell us all the things they're doing because they really want the element of surprise, and I guess they don't want the teachers to know everything, but it sounds very, very, very legitimate. If anyone is, and here's the other thing, don't skirt the line. Don't even think about it, because if you're even suspected, like, they're not launching an investigation into this, okay? If you're suspected, then you did it, and that's it. And the College Board's much bigger than you. It's much bigger than me or Glenn or Winston-Salem. Like the ACT, the SAT, all that stuff when it comes to colleges funnels through this. This is not anybody you would want to be on your bad side. So you don't even want them to suspect you cheat. Because not only will your scores be canceled, but every college that you've ever applied to or will apply to in the future, or have ever indicated on an ACT or SAT that you're interested in them, scholarships, all that, they will be notified of your infraction, and pretty much that's a dead on arrival notice. I mean, you're not getting in with that. Like I said, sophisticated techniques they're not even telling us about. Before you go in, when I said you need to arrive early for your test, you're going to have to give them a writing sample, and so they're going to use that. Another thing they're doing, I might have this down later, is they're using teachers. They're giving all your stuff to me, and I can use it as a grade, which I probably will. Just use it as like a final exam if I have to put one of those in or something, like not for right or wrong, just to say you did it. And they want us to look through it. And if something stands out and this isn't how so-and-so normally writes or talks, or this is really, really odd for them, after a year we've gotten to know each other pretty well, we're to contact College Board too. And if for some reason we don't, then we are at risk with our license and our AP certification and stuff like that. So make sure that you're not even like thinking about anything like that. Here's another thing though. They strongly suggest against using the internet. Like we can't stop you. I mean, if you're typing it on your laptop, you can Google on your phone or tablet or whatever, and vice versa. But if you find yourself through the internet, like clicking on the wrong web page or coming into contact with the wrong person, and they bust some type of cheating ring, and you are in some way, your IP address, your name, your whatever, and they can track all that stuff digitally. I mean, I think it's really easy for people who know what they're doing. And they find that your IP address or whatever went to this site, and this site was associated with cheating, like, you're in it. you're in the cheating ring. Bam. Again, they're not launching investigations. They're not trying to figure it out. So they strongly encourage people not to use the internet. First off, things on the internet might not be true. And second off, like you may, kind of accidentally find yourself doing an innocent Google search, clicking on the wrong thing, and yada, yada, yada. Next thing you know, you're in a cheating ring. So don't do it. You got notes. You got your head. I mean, your head has all this information. Don't second guess yourself. Like, this stuff. You really do. But you have notes. I have the Google Slides. You have a really good textbook. I sent you home with another book. If you need anything, you're fine. You don't need the internet. I promise. So don't even get that in your head that that's something you want to do. Because I don't want anyone to inadvertently lose points over something innocent. The timing of the test, though, isn't long. Like I said, they make it so it uses up the entire time. So the more time you spend searching, which I don't know if you've ever noticed when a teacher gives open note quizzes, sometimes or book or tests, sometimes it takes you longer because it's just a question. You read it takes a couple seconds. You read each answer choice. They take a couple seconds. You think a couple seconds, and then you pick an answer and you go on. I mean, it's really crazy how little time most people spend on a question. I mean, 30 seconds or something like that. 30 seconds is a long time. Let me sit here in silence for 30 seconds. Now I won't, but see how long that felt? So anyways, if you're using time looking for stuff, it usually takes people a minute or plus for multiple choice. So just kind of keep that in mind that the more time you spend looking for stuff, that's less time you're not going to get it back. That's less time you have to explain. So that's what I've said. Just use your head. If you know this stuff, you really, really do. I promise. And the more you spend looking or, self-doubt or stuff like that, it's going to help you in the end. Go with your gut. Go with your instinct. Don't change things. Don't doubt yourself. I promise. I promise you've got this. So just kind of keep that in mind. Don't waste your time. Like I said, exams will be sent to the teachers. That's what I was talking about, to grade. And they will be on the lookout for responses that don't really match the student. All right, big question. Will this test count for college credit? Yes, unequivocally yes. They, confirmed with colleges that they will accept these scores just like any other year, and that's what made them continue to go on to do the test. All right, so grading. You will be scored based on your level of skill and achievement. There's not a curve on these tests, okay? They don't take 100 people and you got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and give 20 people 20% of 5, 20%, 20%, 20%. They don't do that or anything like that, okay? So basically what they do is they look at what everyone wrote, okay? And then they see how much they've all, correctly graded and stuff like that. And so they assess the difficulty of the question, right? So if you get a harder question, and they do this every year. If you get a harder question, let's say it's 10 points total. Let's say there's 10 things they're asking you. And that's not really true. I think they're going to tell me the point breakdown is something around 7 points each, but I can't do that kind of math. So let's say you have a question, they're asking you 10 parts, do this and do that. What is this term? How does this relate? Look at this graph. There's 10 things you have to answer. All right, and let's say you get 8 of them right. If they find that most people were only getting 8 of them right, the overwhelming majority, nobody's getting 9 or 10 points, then they're going to say, that's the 5. And then this means you got a 4 for a grade. This means you got a 3 and stuff like that. If you got 4 right, and again, overwhelmingly, that's the highest. No one's getting 6, 7, 8, 9. Then maybe 4 is the cutoff for getting a 5. You only need 4 points on this question to get a 5. And then, get a 3, get a 4, 2, 1, all those type things. So it varies every year. They do crazy psychometrics and, data and math that's above my head and probably yours to figure that out. So there's this test this year isn't going to be easier or harder. I don't know. If your question's harder than last year's, well, then you don't need as many points to get a 5. If your question's easier than last year's, or would be considered easier, then you need more points to get a 5. So it just kind of balances out so that no year's ever at a disadvantage or anything like that, including you guys. And so I kind of explained that through there. They're hoping to follow the same timetable, get you your scores by July, and we'll get them as teachers about a week after you do it, but it won't have a score attached to it. People will be scoring them from home this year instead of going somewhere like they always do. All right, so advantages is a shorter test. It's 2 questions, bam. I mean, there's 100 multiple choice questions you just didn't even have. You get to do it from home, the comfort of your own home. You do have some confidence in knowing that you're having the same test questions that people have had in the past, and people will have next year. So that feels good. There will be a timer on your screen. There's multiple ways to submit it. Write it electronic. And if you're doing electronic, there's a bunch of different devices you can use. There's a smaller prompt with less scrolling. Colleges are still agreeing to accept this. And some people may consider this easier because it's a shorter, test. Like people from the past years might be like, wait, what? That's all they have to do? Are you kidding me? I would have loved that. So that's your advantages. There's only kind of two disadvantages they came up with that. Some students do prefer multiple choice. And if you tell them those are all gone and you have to write for free response, they may think, oh, this isn't as good of a test or whatever. So that's a disadvantage. Now, if you're not someone who loves multiple choice, you may be like celebrating, but a lot of kids actually do. They found the overwhelming majority do like multiple choice, but there was really no way to keep multiple choice secure because, it's a lot easier to disseminate information about A or something like that. And the other disadvantage is there's no proctor there to call out the time and to keep you with your time. So you do risk running out of time. So you have to set up a plan for that. Like you have to be vigilant about it. All right, opt in or opt out. So you do have the option this year to opt out. My understanding is that it will not negatively impact your grade. In the past, since the school system's paid for it, if you opt out, you lose a letter grade. But this year that won't happen. But I don't see why anyone would opt out because here's the thing. No matter how much you've tried this year, no matter how much you've been in class, no matter how much, you could possibly get college credit. And it really doesn't come down to like GPA and all that comes down to your grades, but like whether a college says you have to take Psych 101 really comes down to your AP score. And if you score a 5 or even 3, it just depends on where you're going, they're going to say you don't have to take this class next. And it really doesn't matter what your grades were, okay? So why not? Like, what do you have to lose? If you get a bad grade, then you don't get college credit. But if you opt out, you don't get college credit anyway. So, like, what's the harm in giving up? It's not even like you're wasting hours of your life. You're wasting less than an hour on one day for the chance of college credit. So I don't think anyone should opt out, especially considering that this test is so much shorter and doesn't have the multiple choice of all years. This is the year to take it and do it and stuff like that. But if you're going to, you need to just let me know so I can figure out what we need to do to make that happen. But I really hope no one decides to do that. And retest. So they really want you to take the first test in May. That's May 19th for us. That way, if you have technical difficulty, like your battery dies, you get sick, you have a sibling come in and be crazy and interrupt you and get you all off your train of thought and you lose time and yada, 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 you still have another chance to do it later in June. If you plan to wait and take it in June and something technical happens, like that's it. You know what I'm saying? There's no recourse. There's no chance to retake it or anything like that. All right, and so that is it. Be on the lookout for more of these. I'll keep you guys posted when there's more, but always check out the website where I have links posted to College Board, and when practices and stuff like that come up, we'll get to doing that too. All right, see you guys later.